The Super Bowl is the most celebrated sporting event in the United States. Millions tune in from their homes, while tens of thousands fill the stadium seats. Americans come together to enjoy football. Hold on, this isn't football, it's American football. In the real football game, 22 players attempt to score by kicking the ball into the opponent's goal. As for America's performance, it's not impressive. In the recent World Cup held in Russia, the USA failed to qualify. In the critical match, they were defeated by Trinidad and Tobago, a nation with a population of just 1 million. Sure, they lost, but that happens to everyone. However, the key point is that Americans largely dislike traditional football, which is the world's most popular sport. What went awry? Before you click away from this video, even if you're indifferent to football, here's a little secret. I haven't watched a single match in the last decade. Ultimately, this story transcends sports. It delves into human nature, applicable not just in the States, but within each of us. It touches upon a fondness for grandeur, geopolitics, and even the Bible. In essence, it's about the reasons behind Americans' dislike for soccer. Music. Here's an intriguing fact. Did you know that the United States has dominated the Summer Olympic Games, winning the vast majority of events by a substantial margin over other countries? The U.S. has claimed numerous championships over the years, but also within you, reflecting a preference for grandeur, geopolitics, and even the Bible. In summary, it's an exploration of why Americans have an aversion to soccer. Music. Here's a fascinating fact. Did you know that the United States has overwhelmingly dominated the history of the Summer Olympic Games, winning the majority by a significant margin? The U.S. has clinched championships numerous times in volleyball, basketball, hockey, and various other team sports. However, the same story unfolds each time with soccer. The U.S. holds such a strong disdain for the European version of soccer that they even devised an alternative name for it. Among themselves, Americans often call this sport sissy soccer or sissy ball, terms that can be interpreted as football for wimps. They support this viewpoint by arguing that, unlike American football, soccer players are not allowed to use their hands and frequently feign injuries. It's disheartening for millions of fans globally to hear such remarks, but let's not jump to conclusions too quickly. There may be a logical explanation for this perspective. Traditionally, let's begin with the background. Soccer originated long ago in China, though it would be simpler to mention what wasn't invented there, so we'll bypass that discussion. In 1863, a group of gentlemen convened in a pub in England. They created an association and laid down specific rules. This marks the beginning of modern soccer. The game gradually disseminated around the world due to colonialism. Let's begin with history. Soccer was created many years ago in China, though it would be easier to outline what wasn't invented there, so we'll leave that aside. In 1863, a group of gentlemen met in a pub in England. They founded an association and set forth clear rules. This marked the inception of modern soccer. The game gradually expanded globally due to colonialism and grew to become the most popular sport on the planet. Music. Applause. Music. In the mid-19th century, European soccer and rugby coexisted in the United States. Concurrently, A unique blend of these two sports began to enjoy popularity in the nation's colleges: American football. Today, American football is the leading sport in the U.S. The significant question surrounding American football is, why is it named that? The English term football literally means football, yet players in American football seldom make contact with the ball using their feet during games. Let's go back to history. In the 1930s, the Great Depression affected all sports in the United States. However, basketball, baseball, and American football not only rebounded since then, but also rose to become the most popular sports in the country. Soccer encountered a tragic fate. Throughout the past century, Americans have made efforts to improve the situation. They established new leagues, invested funds, and brought in renowned players. Yet, the U.S. national soccer team struggled through one World Cup failure after another. The national team didn't even qualify for most world championships. But not only did they rebound, but they also became the most popular sports in the country. Soccer encountered a tragic outcome. Throughout the past century, Americans have made efforts to alter the situation, establishing new leagues, investing money, and attracting famous players. However, the U.S. national soccer team has experienced repeated failures in World Cups. The national team didn't even qualify for most world championships. Yet, the core issue is that soccer still isn't embraced by most Americans, and the underlying reasons are more profound than one might assume. Let's begin with the obvious. In the United States, losing is not an option, it's a cultural reality. Most people in the country believe that America should be number one in everything. If we consistently struggle at a particular sport, the typical American thinks there must be something wrong with that sport, leading them to dismiss European soccer. Consequently, it becomes seen as a sport for children and women. 1 in 3 children in the U.S. plays soccer in school, and the U.S. women's national team is the best globally. They have secured victories in the last 2 World Cups, numerous Olympic Games, and more. However, women and children alone cannot change the prevailing sentiment. It's challenging to compete when faced with a formidable force: money. Despite all the feminist movements, sports continue to be an entertainment primarily for men. The financial disparity serves as the clearest evidence of this. The economic power of men's sports greatly outweighs that of women's, mainly because of advertising revenue. Americans have a strong affinity for earning and spending, a fact that advertisers and television networks fully understand. Changing the situation is no easy task. Competing against a daunting force, money, makes it even tougher. Despite all the feminist movements, sports continue to be largely male-oriented entertainment. The financial statistics underscore this reality. The revenue generated by men's sports far exceeds that of women's, primarily because of the level of advertising investment. Americans have a penchant for earning and spending, a truth that advertisers and television networks know all too well. In American football, the rules permit numerous stoppages, breaks, timeouts, player substitutions, video reviews, and more throughout a game. All of this translates to one key aspect. During these pauses, there is ample opportunity for advertising. How many breaks occur during a standard European soccer match? There are 115 minutes of playtime, making it challenging to generate substantial revenue, even with high advertising rates. While money often serves as the ultimate explanation, this might not be the case here. It's time to shift focus to the primary point: size. The inspiration for this video struck me while I was watching the well-known comedy series Modern Family. In it, one of the characters frequently expressed skepticism about soccer. RealSport.ua: why watch a game where goals are so seldom scored? That was the essence of his argument. It's an intriguing viewpoint, I thought. So an entire nation dismisses the sport due to its low scoring and perceived lack of excitement. In contrast, in basketball, a team can effortlessly rack up 90 points, while in American football, the typical score hovers around 20 points, where goals are infrequently scored. That was the gist of his argument. It struck me as an interesting perspective. So an entire nation turns away from the game due to its low scoring and the perception that it isn't entertaining enough. For instance, in basketball, a team can effortlessly score 90 points. Meanwhile, the average score in American football hovers around 20 points. In both sports, matches seldom conclude in a tie. In traditional soccer, teams typically manage to score 1 or 2 goals, or sometimes not score at all. This is not the type of soccer that appeals to Americans. To boost the game's popularity, some outlandish ideas surfaced in the States. For instance, there was a proposal to implement a scoring system in soccer, akin to that of American football. This would involve not just tallying goals, but also granting points for entering the opponent's penalty area and for hitting the goal, even if the goalkeeper manages to catch the ball. And of course, points would be awarded for scoring a goal, as expected. If you have even a basic understanding of traditional soccer rules, you can see how amusing that idea sounds. Generally, Americans have a fascination with everything oversized: homes, cars, portion sizes in restaurants. Everything must be large. This obsession extends to athletes as well. On average, basketball and American football players are 20 centimeters taller than soccer players. When I encountered this fact, the first thought that crossed my mind was the well-known tale of the duel between David and Goliath from the Old Testament. David was just a young boy, whereas Goliath. In restaurants, everything needs to be large. Athletes are not excluded from this trend. On average, basketball and American football players stand 20 centimeters taller than soccer players. Upon learning this fact, I immediately thought of the renowned story of the duel between David and Goliath from the Old Testament. David was just a young boy, while Goliath was a colossal giant towering nearly 3 meters high. Everyone recognized that David had little hope in a direct confrontation. Nevertheless, he picked up a small stone and expertly slung it straight at Goliath's forehead. The giant fell lifeless. This story has turned into a metaphor. You might lack a great physique or abundant resources, but with sufficient effort and creative thinking, you can triumph over even a seemingly more formidable opponent. In my view, the tale of David and Goliath aptly demonstrates why traditional soccer has risen to be the most popular sport worldwide. Firstly, it's accessible. All a child needs to begin playing soccer is a ball, with no specialized gear necessary. As for the field, anything can suffice. As kids, we would chalk out goals on the walls of our houses. Success in the game relies primarily on the effort invested rather than a family's wealth or access to top-notch facilities. All of Brazil exemplifies this belief. Equipment for American football can run hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and equipment can be anything, and as children, we would sketch goals with chalk on the walls of our homes. Success in the game hinges primarily not on a family's wealth or the presence of good facilities, but rather on the effort invested. All of Brazil stands as proof of this. In contrast, American football equipment can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and playing it on a non-specialized field is nearly impossible. The second crucial factor is physical attributes. To excel in European soccer, exceptional physical strength or height is not required. Maradona stood at 1.65 m, Messi at 1.70 m, and Neymar at 1.75 m. What genuinely matters in soccer is the ability to control the ball. The United States admires winners and prioritizes strength. This is evident both personally and in the realm of geopolitics. Perhaps it's this facet of cultural DNA that has positioned American football as the dominant sport in the country, while soccer has lagged behind. In contrast, European soccer, where skill, creativity, and tactics are valued far more than physical attributes, has emerged as the world's most popular sport. People are drawn to tales of underdogs who triumph over their challenges and circumstances, boys from disadvantaged backgrounds who attain global fame through dedication serve as role models, inspiring millions of children worldwide to take up this sport. While this is certainly not the only reason for soccer's immense popularity, as the world's most popular sport, people are captivated by stories of underdogs who conquer their personal battles and circumstances. Boys from low-income families who reach global fame through hard work become role models, inspiring millions of children across the globe to embrace this sport. It is evident that this is not the sole reason for soccer's popularity, but it certainly ranks among them. Certainly, it would be misleading to assert that the popularity of men's soccer in the United States is not increasing at all. In the past couple of decades, positive trends have surfaced and some achievements have been reached. However, in 2018, the national team once again fell short in qualifying for the World Cup, reigniting discussions about the country's relationship with the sport. Now, American soccer fans are eagerly anticipating the 2026 World Cup, which will occur in various locations, including the United States. This tournament may ignite greater interest among the general public for this less popular sport, though that remains uncertain. Music. It appears there isn't any text submitted for me to rewrite. Please share the block of text you would like me to work on, and I'll be glad to assist you.